Hi everyone, I'm Annie. I'm so sorry I couldn't be there with you today. We're traveling to a wedding and things got a little bit chaotic. So thank you so much to the Lemon Grove for having me, virtually of course. I'll tell you a little bit about my story and then I'll give Marissa my contact. Marissa has my contact information, so if anyone has any questions or needs any support, feel free to reach out. So I have one amazing son. He is a year old. He just turned a year. We had a tricky birth. Marissa was amazing. Nonetheless, I was in labor for 2 days. He got stuck, emergency C-section, mini NICU visit, and then, of course, postpartum anxiety and postpartum OCD. And that hit me almost immediately. It was very overwhelming. I felt very lost. I have a history of anxiety and depression and post-traumatic stress, so I wasn't surprised when it came. I had come up with a plan with my psychiatrist and with my therapist to figure out what would happen if I did get postpartum anxiety or postpartum depression. I actually did not think about postpartum OCD, but that was the one that threw me for the loop. So I really had to navigate all of this in the middle of what I would call my worst nightmare of a germ season. So I had intrusive thoughts and germ, I was petrified of germs. And as some of you may recall, last year, I gave birth to my son in February, so last year, not this February, previous February, there was a ton of illness. There is this year. And that was the beginning of like people not getting measles shots, and I was just absolutely petrified. I remember having to practice when he was 3 months old, practice with my therapist going to get coffee with somebody with Noah, meaning like literally just running into a coffee shop and then sitting outside. He's 3 months old, he's got his vaccines, and that was petrifying to me, and it took days of talking with my therapist to come up with how I was going to do it. So I am really thankful for exposure response therapy, which is the therapy that I did to address my postpartum OCD and intrusive thoughts. I also do DBT therapy, which is very helpful, but not as helpful with postpartum OCD. I will tell you that the scariest part of postpartum OCD for me was feeling like my thoughts were not, or these intrusive thoughts were not like aligned with my reality and how I actually felt. And I feel, sorry, I'm in the car, so that's why I'm shaking. I feel to this day very ashamed of them, but that's normal to have that feeling. I feel like parts of my maternity leave were stolen from me because I was so fixated on getting rid of these thoughts and I was so consumed by them. So I definitely understand what people go through if you're currently going through it, or if you have gone through it. It is really scary. It is really something that I didn't think of before I had my son. And it's something that I think we need to address more because it's very common. And that being said, everybody has their own journey to healing. Everybody has their own journey to dealing with how they process their emotions. For me personally, therapy and some medication and ERP therapy specifically, and surrounding myself with people who were supportive of the ERP way, which is kind of unique in that it doesn't, ERP works on exposing yourself to the thoughts or for like germ contamination, exposing yourself to like going to Starbucks, like little things like that to build up that, to lessen the amount of anxiety that comes with the fact that you're about to do something that makes you anxious. So you over time like kind of calm down because you do something enough. Like, you know, we all remember the first time we drove, we were really nervous. Like the more you drive, the more comfortable you feel. So with intrusive thoughts, you really can't do exposure response therapy that way because you just can't. So instead, it's exposing yourself to the uncertainty, and uncertainty for me is very, very hard. I struggle with it on a daily basis. I struggled with it before having my son, before getting pregnant. I am very type A, and that was just, I did not realize that the uncertainty was OCD, and now that I know that, I'm so much more aligned with where I want to be in terms of parenting. That being said, everyone has their own journey. Exposure response therapy worked well for me, and reaching out to your village, creating your village before you have your baby is really helpful. And I would say that not everybody is going to show up for you in the way that you want them to. And so it's setting those boundaries even before you have your baby, and talking with people about what you need. So for example, for me, I knew even before having my son that I did not want people coming to the house, friends, family, beyond like his grandparents for the first little while. And I set that expectation with everybody. I said, we love you all, but we're going to have visitors once he gets like his full shots. And that was hard for some people, but setting the expectations before having him was very helpful in terms of smoothing out all the emotions that came with that. So, in summary, lean on your village, create your village, be kind to yourself, know that this is a journey. It's like a marathon, not a sprint. With respect to being a working mom, it is very hard. I look and feel exhausted. You just take it day by day, because there's no guidebook on how to parent. I mean, there's a million guidebooks, but there's no guidebook on like how to actually parent, because everybody's situation is different. Everybody has different needs, and everyone has different jobs, and everyone has different support systems, and everyone has different children and how they respond to things. And so while the lovely parenting books and the influencers on Instagram can make it seem like there's only one way to do things, there's not. So being a working mom is just knowing that you are literally surviving, not thriving, until you figure out your routine. And I'm still in the surviving mode, very much in the surviving mode. I am trying to accept that as a perfectionist, not everything can be perfect. And as a mom, you can't be a perfect mom. I'm a lawyer. I can't be a perfect lawyer. I can't be a perfect wife. I can't be a perfect friend, but I have to just try my best, set the boundaries I need to set, and know that if I work as hard as I can on being present for my son, being present at work when I'm at work, I will do okay. And it's hard. Like, I would say that it is one of the hardest things I've ever done, and I've been through a lot of things, and that's not something to address here, and many trigger warnings would be needed, but this is very hard. And that's okay, because that's just how it is going to be. Anyways, feel free to reach out if you have any questions or want to hear about my journey. I hope that you all have a nice weekend, and if you're expecting, congratulations. If you recently had a baby, congratulations. If you're just surviving motherhood, it's congratulations. We're doing it all together. Alrighty, bye-bye.